such a deal is in fact the best way to contain the dangers of nuclear proliferation in the region.
That's accurate. That I've been saying this for years. At least 10 years I've been saying this. Leave Iran alone. They'll become our trading partner. Larry, how do you know that they're our enemy? That's neocon horseshit. That's not true at all. That's not true. The government doesn't like us. That's true. The people don't care. People actually like Americans. Have you met Iranians? I have. Have you met Persians? I have. They love America. The people like America and Americans. The governments don't like each other. That's it. Leave them alone. Just leave them alone. They will become our trading partner. And when they do, that is what creates an actual revolution? A powerful middle class. Let them have a powerful middle class. They'll revolt there on their own. They'll fix their own country. Let them have a powerful middle class. If we would have left them alone like 30 years ago, they'd already be our ally. They'd already be our ally. This would not even be a problem. So make a peace, leave them alone. This idea of they're coming, this is the same garbage from they hate us for our freedoms. Insanely stupid neocon stuff. None of that's true. Which is funny. The neocons, when it comes to foreign policy, since Reagan, after Reagan, have always been wrong. And they still think they're right. And they have always been wrong, except for Reagan. And Reagan was the exception. Neocons still think it's 1983. They haven't figured out it's not. They think it's 1984, maybe. They think it's that. Because Reagan was pretty good with his foreign policy. He got a lot of good stuff done. Not look, tear down the wall, amazing, right? Neocons back in the 80s got a decent amount right. Right? A decent amount right. Now, they're always wrong. Every time, 100% wrong. They're never right. And they just keep going. Everything they do fails. Everything they do just builds the military-industrial complex. Everything they do just makes people hate us more. Everything they do just puts us more in debt. And neocons still run shit. And they still keep going. They never learn. And they say the same stuff again and again and again. I get it. You love Reagan. He was my first commander-in-chief. I'm not mad at you for that. He did a lot of good things. Some things not so good. But he did a lot of good things too. I get it. Those days are over, neocons. It's not 1985. It's not. 88. It's not. It's none of those. Shit doesn't work anymore. They keep going, though.
Additionally, one of the compromises being mooted, a regional consortium that would enrich uranium, could be a helpful model that would pave the way for Saudi Arabia's own plan to have a civilian nuclear program.
Now, you might say, why in the world would Saudi Arabia care about this? Because they know that eventually that oil is going to run out. That's it. What makes Saudi Arabia anything? It's just oil. That's it. Without oil, Saudi Arabia is, I don't know, Sudan, like they're the same country. If you just take away the oil, that's how bad it is. I mean, that makes the country. And they know that. So what are they going to do? They still have to be active energy. Look, think of yourself. If you were someone who just you had a whole lot of money and no skills, right? You didn't spend much time fixing anything. You didn't spend any time doing anything. You just got a bunch of money because you inherited a bunch of money and you got lots of money. What would you do if you wanted to keep your family strong? You'd probably invest that money. You probably would, because you haven't spent any time, in this fictitious case, you haven't spent any time building any skill sets. You don't have anything except a bunch of cash. You inherited it all. Okay, because again, this is a royal family. So the family inherits tons of money. You got lots of money. What do you do with it? Well, if you're savvy, you invest it. That's what they're doing. And they're seeing, okay, oil's going to go away one of these days. So what are we going to do? Let's invest in other energy. Because once you have an infrastructure to export energy, once you have a mindset to export energy, once you have the brand of exporting energy, why do you care what kind? As long as people buy it, what do you care? So why not nuclear? That's why Saudi's like, okay, we have to build ours also. And that's happening now. And that's MBS. He's the one doing this stuff now. He's like, we're doing this now. That's it. That's what this is all about. That's what it's about.
The challenge for Trump is that his administration is divided on this issue between two camps, realists and neoconservatives. The former seem to include Trump himself and Steve Witkoff, the chief negotiator. On the other side are various Iran hawks most prominently Marco Rubio,
Of
along with
course.
a bevy of congressional Republicans.
Of course, Lindsey
The
Graham.
two sides still seem to be battling, which explains why the administration seems to change its tone and emphasis every.
And that was my point I've been saying forever. So many of you who support Trump say, I don't understand. He won the election. He should be doing X, Y, and Z. He's fighting still internally. The swamp didn't go away. Again, does he have more power than most presidents? Absolutely. Can he get more done than most presidents? Absolutely. But he still has to fight the swamp. He must. There's no way around that. You can't. That swamp took decades, if not centuries, to make. That's not going away because one guy wins, right? But is he making a dent? I would say clearly yes. I would say clearly he is making a dent.
The main Iran hawk, of course, is Bibi Netanyahu, who warns that Iran will get a bomb soon unless it is bombed.
And that's been a lie forever.
But it's worth keeping in mind that Netanyahu has been predicting that Iran is months away from getting a nuclear bomb for at least 13 years.
That's accurate.
Actually, he wrote a book in which he claimed Iran was on a relentless path to a nuclear bomb in 1990.
So he said, I'm not joking, 30 years ago, that Iran was about to have a bomb. He's been saying they're 5 months away for 30 years. Netanyahu is full of shit. That's how that works. He is now, has always been. Neocons love him when he says that. Yeah, see, you got to get Iran to get a bomb. They're not. That's not a thing. They actually don't want a bomb. I'm not joking. They actually don't want one because if they get close, they're getting invaded. And they know that. They'd have to be able to do it without anyone knowing or having protection, right? Now, North Korea had Chinese protection. They had it. You're not invading North Korea. We tried it once. And what happened? The Chinese came across the border and pushed us out. The Chinese, so those countries can do it. We're not, Pakistan, India, we're not invading them. They got it. But we would invade Iran. And now with Russia stuck fighting Ukraine, Russia ain't going to stop them. And Syria's not a buffer anymore. Iranians are in trouble. If they try to get a bomb, they're getting invaded. And they know that. And the last thing they want to do is lose their power because if they get invaded, that place is falling into, that place will actually be Somalia. That will become Somalia. So, and they know that. They don't want that. So right now, they don't want one. Right? When they might have wanted one back in the day when they thought they could have been protected. They might have. They're not protected. They have zero chance. They do not want anymore. It is the end of them. And they know that. They get one, they're getting invaded. If they get close, they're getting invaded. That's how I know they're not close. That's how I know they're not close. Larry, they're probably 5 months away. Neocon lies, neocon propaganda. They're not. If they were actually 5 months away, if that were real and they were going to do it, they would have been invaded. Turks might have invaded them. Who knows? Russians, maybe Russians, they can't. We would have invaded. We would have paid the Jews to invade. Who cares? Someone's invading. Saudis would have invaded. Someone's invading. We'd have bribed the Iraqis to all of a sudden be on our side again, just thrown them a couple $1 billion and have them go in. Who cares? We would have found the answer. The Afghanis, we already gave the Afghanis how many billions of dollars worth of weapons? Throw them a couple more $1 billion, go invade. Done. Easy day. That's how I know they're not, because they would have been invaded already. There's no way we're going to be like, okay. Even Trump says it. He's like, they cannot have a bomb. That's Trump's only thing now. That's all he's saying. You want to have regular nuclear power? It's fine. No bomb. That's it. That's how I know they're not there. Because Trump would actually have the backing of most of the Middle East, all of the Congress, to invade, to actually declare war. He would have the backing to do so. So he would do so. And Lindsey Graham would be giddy. He would be giddy if that would be true. He would buy a brand new dress if he could. Absolutely he would.